Section 39 of the Constitution and Article 9 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights Act guarantee the right of every citizen, everybody in Nigeria, to freedom of expression.
My besties, this 1 week me, if Nigeria was finally able to arrest Uncle Farotimi for apparently speaking out his mind, then I don't know what to say again. The country is gone. Like, it's literally gone. Why am I even saying arrest? Because it seemed like they actually kidnapped him. Just like how they did to Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya, where they bonded him, went after him so many times. Didn't actually seem like they were after him for just defamation of character. The whole scenario played out more than just a remark or a defamation of character. It played out like a big criminal case.
You don't abduct a lawyer. It's a class society. When the EFCC wants to arrest a big man, when the police requires the attention of a big man, you write a letter, a polite letter. Kindly, you are hereby invited to our office, kindly be interviewed by the undersigned. And they put a phone number there.
Was that
and
wrong?
You can phone the police. You ask me to come on Monday. I'm otherwise engaged. Can we reschedule the appointment?
Okay.
Only big people in our country.
My besties, this is Uncle Farotimi, one of the most prestigious people in Nigeria who fight for everyone, either for the Igbos, Yorubas, even the Hausa. He is a human rights activist and a lawyer. He says things just the way it is and doesn't try to hide it. He literally fights against injustice and corruption in Nigeria. He fights the politicians, judiciary, etc. But it seems like he has finally stepped on so many toes. So here's how it all started. Recently, he was called to answer some questions by the police regarding charges placed against him by Sir Tony Elumelu. Afterwards, he was released and told to come back on the 21st of November, just for the police to go back looking for him. In fact, according to the sources, they allegedly arrested his relatives and even his pastor friend, asking him to lure Uncle Farotimi to the church so that they can arrest him. This pastor told them that I can't do no such thing because he's not a criminal. He's not running away. He has just been to your office not long ago. So why are you after him? So they brought out a petition written by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Afe Babalola, accusing Uncle Farotimi for defamation of character. This whole thing started because of his new book titled Nigeria and Its Criminal Justice System, in which he mentioned Chief Afe Babalola for at least 50 times, not for a good cause, of course. He went in with his lawyer for questioning, but he was also released once again. Even though he was released, the police was still after him, harassing him, especially his families, his friends, his close friends, asking them to lure him to places where they can finally arrest him. If this doesn't sound like a kidnap, I don't know how to explain it. Normally, this kind of arrest or this kind of way of going about to arrest someone is normally done when it's got to do with a high criminal case where they know that the person is a fugitive. Following these harassments, Uncle Farotimi actually knew that this was going on, so he released a statement on his X page stating that if the police want him, they can come to his house to get him, which is what they should have done. He further mentioned that he knew they were looking for him and asking people to lure him to places, so he decided to stay home.
It came to my knowledge that there is a charge that had been fraudulently preferred against me before a court in Ekiti State at the instance of Chief Afe Babalola. This charge had been fraudulently preferred, hidden from view, and the court had purportedly demanded my presence multiple times, and I had failed to appear before this court. And this court had then proceeded to issue a bench warrant for my arrest. This is classic Afe Babalola. I detailed his corruptive influence in my book, Nigeria and Its Criminal Justice System. And what he has done is exactly what he has always done in hiding, but he has done it this time again. And the calculations were that I would have been picked up, taken before this judge, who must have either been compromised or misled in Ekiti. And I would have been remanded in prison custody for being somebody who was meant to face trial and who had refused to bring himself to court. I am reliably informed that social media influencers had been paid to spin these narratives after my arrest. Human rights activists have been positioned to start speaking after my arrest, including one Agbaya. High offices in this country have been compromised in pursuit of my persons. High offices, from the Inspector General's office, because the police have been subverted. The Attorney General of the Federation needs to examine himself because his office has been somehow linked to this as well. I do not know if the presidency is directly involved in this, and I will not make frivolous charges. But high offices have been subverted in pursuit of a criminal purpose. I have committed no crime, done nothing wrong. If I have committed any wrong for which the state requires my attendance in a court or at a police station, they know exactly where I live. I will live only once, but I will not live cowering to any man. Let us be clear. If and when I have a charge to answer before a court, you all know where I live. I'm not hiding, and I'm not running away from anybody. Let us be very clear about that. I will never run away from Nigeria. We all have to pretend that we are in a democracy, and we have to pretend that we are citizens, and we have to pretend that we are a country ruled by law. And by all means, you will pretend that we are. I have done nothing. And if I have a charge that should be preferred against me, bring it on. I'm happy to come to court to have my day. If there is a crime, there must be justice, not only for the person who is aggrieved. There must be justice for the accused. And there must also be justice for the system. This is not how to build a rule-based system, where the system itself becomes so criminal that policemen were engaged in criminality.
Okay, my besties, bear in mind that a threat was made on his own life in 2021, where he reported this to the police, of which he mentioned 6 people, including the police themselves, but no investigations were carried out. My besties, this only shows that there are certain people in Nigeria who can take the law into their hands and get away with it, while others will be silenced and targeted. Having said that, during that same time, after his statement, he decided to go to his lawyer's office. Once in the office, some gunmen came to the office wearing jeans and, top with rapid response written on their back. They harassed the staff in the office, beat up a female staff, and threatened to shoot both the lawyer and others if they don't hand over their phone. Allegedly reported by authentic sources. Afterwards, they took Mr. Farotimi and left. They took him by road to Ekiti. My besties, look at what is happening here. They took him all the way from Lagos to Ekiti. So my besties, are you guys aware of this? According to one of the lawyers, as part of Nigerian law, if somebody offends you in a different state, you can actually get them arrested and transfer them or take them to where you live, which is what Chief Babalola has done apparently. Although some people said that defamation of character is not a criminal case in Lagos, some lawyers have come out to confirm that it is in Ekiti. However, Rufai, the journalist, is contradicting this by his statement on X. The question that many are asking is, why didn't Chief Babalola file a case against Mr. Farotimi directly so that they can take him in for questioning once again, or take him to court so he can defend himself, since he also is a lawyer and knows how these things work, rather than trying to get people to lure him to places for arrest, which wasn't called for. And now, because of their actions, many netizens are stating that they just want to silence Mr. Farotimi for his freedom of speech, or rather to prevent him from saying certain things or bringing certain things to the surface. And the argument remains, if Mr. Babalola didn't do all the things that were stated in the book, then why take such a drastic way to arrest him? My besties, what do you think about this whole thing? Do you have an idea of why this happened? Do you think that there is more to this situation, or is all just to silence Mr. Farotimi to stop certain things from coming out to the surface? What do you take out of this? Okay, guys, let's listen to some of the lawyers' reaction to this whole situation.
One of the early reactions came from Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, who confirmed the arrest and demanded the release of Mr. Farotimi from what he described as illegal custody. Falana said, in demanding for Mr. Farotimi's unconditional release from illegal custody, I wish to state without any fear of contradiction that Lagos State is among the 2 states in Nigeria that have decriminalized defamation in its entirety. The other state is Edo. But the news soon emerged that Mr. Farotimi had been taken to Ekiti State. The police command in the state confirmed that they got a warrant of arrest based on a petition written to the Commissioner of Police in the state. The complainant, Chief Afe Babalola, speaking through his lawyer Owosheni Ajayi at a press conference on Friday, December 5th, said the human rights activist, who has now been remanded by the Ekiti Magistrate Court, will be free if he can prove the allegations leveled against him. The lawyer said the defamatory remarks Farotimi made against Babalola in his book, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System, were targeted to injure the hard-earned reputation of the legal icon, which cannot be remedied by any award of damages. This press briefing perhaps shed some light on why the legal team did not file a civil suit like many believe that they should have done. In its reaction to the arrest, the Nigerian Bar Association condemned the move by the Nigerian police. On defamation charges, the NBA emphasized that defamation is a civil matter and not a criminal offense in Lagos State. The association also called for the immediate release of Farotimi. In his reaction, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Wahab Shitu, called for a truce and an amicable resolution of the matter very quickly too, by concerned and eminent members of the society concerned about the cohesiveness and unity of the country. He said, no matter the seriousness of the issue, I believe there is a window of opportunity to find a middle ground of resolving the impasse without endangering reputations and bruising the respective egos of the parties involved in the controversy. I urge elements on both sides to sheath their swords and work for peace. Interestingly, a lot of senior lawyers have declined to give their opinions on tape on the issue, suggesting that there are moves to broker peace and find a solution that works.
Okay, guys, so at this point, do you think Mr. Babalola acted the right way, or do you think he could have acted in a more diplomatic way? Let's look at a line in the famous book that is causing and stirring reactions online and between politicians in Nigeria. I'll start from here. I will tell you the story of the complete and total loss of the capacity to deliver justice against the backdrop of a case that was decided by the Supreme Court and which are in the public domain. I speak specifically of the Badamasi electoral case, if I said that right. So let's read number 1, that Are Afe Babalola corrupted the Supreme Court to procure a fraudulent judgment in the service of his clients. And you can see it here on the screen. It goes on and on and on. But after investigations and court hearing a couple of days ago, he has actually been granted bail on the ground of some weird circumstances. Let's listen to the next video.
Legal practitioner Mr. Dele Farotimi has been granted bail by a federal high court sitting in Ekiti State this morning. The court granted bail in the sum of 50 million naira with a surety in the same amount who must provide landed property as collateral. The presidential candidate of the African Action Congress in the 2023 election, Amayele Sowore, disclosed the court's decision via his X handle today. The tweet also said, the first hurdle was crossed. At Dele Farotimi was granted bail of 50 million naira surety in like sum with someone with landed property. The case was adjourned till January 29, 2025. Channels Television learned that Professor Festus Emiri, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, led the defense team before the Federal High Court today. Other bail conditions, as granted by the court, are that the surety must be resident in Ekiti State and must possess 3 years tax clearance for the property within Ekiti State. The surety is also to deposit title deed of the property with the registrar of the court. The surety and the defendant must also submit 4 recent passport pictures to the court. The defendant, Mr. Farotimi, is also deposit his international passport with the registrar of the court.
My besties, even though the circumstances are harsh and that sound really harsh, his problems are far from over. Here's why. Fresh charges have actually been filed against him. And this is why I said, just like Nnamdi Kanu, this man, they actually want to keep this man in prison for a long time. These charges filed against him count as far as 12. Let's read some of it. One said that you, Dele Farotimi, on 28th August 2024, knowingly and intentionally transmitted communication in an online interview on mic on podcast by Sheung in respect of a hook authored and published by you titled Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System, wherein you stated in the interview that Are Afe Babalola corrupted the judiciary, which you know to be false information for the purpose of causing breakdown, law and order, thereby committed an offense contrary to and punishable under Section 24(1)(b) of Cybercrime, Prohibition, Prevention, etc. Act 2015, as amended, among others. Ha ha ha, hey, my besties. I will come back in the next video with this video that generated this whole problem. Stay tuned to the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to your girl here, Suzy.